Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Hi everyone and welcome to the Cognitive Recalibration podcast. As always, I'm your host Shravan. We have Taran here with us.
Hey everyone.
We're back to our normal form of programming, kind of.
Regular scheduled programming, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, regular schedule. We've been doing a bit of these Lord of the Rings type episodes, or Lord of the Rings episodes recently. We've still got a Rings of Power episode, which I'll be recording with some guests later today, but we're going to be talking about MCU after a little while.
Very burnt out on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slog. I think it's just too long. I think they just, especially when you watch them all together, it can be a bit of a slog. But they're good. We'll see what we think about Rings of Power. That episode should be coming out at the same time as this episode. So if you're interested in that, go listen to Rings of Power.
Well, I'm not going to be on that because they're recording it after this and I haven't seen it. Yeah,
well, you were just saying that it makes you go to sleep every time you watch it.
I've tried multiple times to watch it, but I've fallen asleep a lot.
So that's your review of it. It's a cure for insomnia.
That is my small review of Rings of Power.
But okay, so in this episode we're going to be talking about Werewolf by Night, which is I think they call it a special presentation. Marvel
special presentation.
Yeah.
It's got a different opening as well.
Yeah, so that was their Halloween special for this year.
Yeah.
Even though it's not Halloween yet. It's
I guess they released it in October so that the spooky season.
Yeah. So you can watch it with all the other horror movies and shows or whatever. So we'll talk about that first, and then we'll talk about the much awaited, talked about She-Hulk. So stay tuned for that. But we'll start with Werewolf by Night. So as usual, we'll do a bit of background. I've got it is a comic book. It's a comic book movie. It's a movie, right? You can call it a movie, even though it's about
It's a Marvel special presentation.
So it's not really I guess it's about as long as an episode from a show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the comic book origins of the character, and then we'll go into our thoughts on it, and we'll do a bit of spoilers after that. Background-wise, I didn't actually know this, but it's until I watched it. But it's directed by Michael Giacchino,
the composer,
the music composer.
He did the Batman.
He did do the Batman. He also did Spider-Man, the latest Spider-Man trilogy, and I think he also did Thor: Love and Thunder. Or he's done a lot of stuff anyway. He's a pretty prolific music composer, and he's part of a lot of big movies. Jurassic World, I think he also did.
He also composed the music for this.
Yes, so he did the music and the directing for this. In terms of the story, I mean, there's not that much to it. It's a very self-contained.
I thought it was a basic story, but it was good for the time they had.
Yeah.
But honestly, you could make a movie out of this story as well.
Yeah, you could add a bit more.
Like a short movie.
Yeah, I think we'll get into our positives and negatives, but I think there was probably enough content on at least a couple of the characters where they could have done a bit more backstory and made it a longer feature film. But runtime is 53 minutes, so that's including credits and all that. So it is short. It's short. There's Rings of Power episodes are longer than this, some of them. So
that's why I fall asleep.
Yeah. It's in black and white. So
for most of it,
for most of it. And it's got that, I think they're going for that very 50s type feel.
Like a 50s horror movie. Yeah.
Yeah, like those Universal.
Like Nosferatu kind of vibes.
Like those Universal monster movies from the black and white era. So it's really
Creature from the Black Lagoon, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's really like a homage to those movies.
I've never seen any of those, but
yeah, I can't say I've seen any of them either. But we have seen, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of black and white English films in general, but they do have some, back when they did it in black and white and they actually filmed on film, there was certain characteristics of
like the film grain and
the grain and like this.
The spot. I don't know what it's called.
I think they call them like cigarette holes. So they used to purposely put those holes on the film.
When they need to change the reel.
Yeah. So they do that. This wasn't shot on film, so this was shot digitally, but they put those in sort of post to make it feel like it's a
kind of like watching movies with film grain. Yeah. Iron Man was filmed on film.
Oh, yeah?
Iron Man 1. And then they went to digital afterwards, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan always films on film.
Yeah. I think it looks better.
Yeah. There's something about it that it feels more like a movie, I guess.
Yeah. But this isn't filmed on film. It's digital, but they try and make it seem like that.
Yeah. But because it's black and white, I think, I mean, there's a couple of reasons why they made it black and white as well. So one was to pay homage to those horror movies, but the other one was to cover up some of the violence in this.
Oh, yeah, the violence. Yeah, it is probably the most violent Marvel thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think there's a beheading.
There is.
And you see it. Yeah. And
there's lots of blood, but since it's black and white, you can't really see it.
Yeah.
So it is definitely the most violent Marvel thing ever made. Probably Marvel thing ever, but definitely MCU thing ever. And the reason they made it black and white, one of the reasons was to sort of cover that up. It was still rated MA15 plus here in Australia, and I think it wasn't R rated, I don't think, in the US, but it was like TV MA or something, which is one of the high ratings that you can get. I guess we can jump to our positives and negatives on this. Actually, I'll do comic book origins first. So when do you think this character debuted in comics?
I don't know, 2005?
No, it's actually a pretty old character, 1972.
Jeez.
So there's actually two versions of Werewolf by Night. There's Jack Russell, who's the one in this. Yeah. The one in this. It's also a breed of dog.
It is, yeah.
So I found that interesting. Was that purposefully put in, like werewolf and is a breed of dog? And
possibly.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the first version of Werewolf by Night in the comics, but there's a more recent one who's Jake Gomez. That's very confusing. Jack Russell and Jake
Gomez.
So Jake Gomez, which was very recent actually, October 2020.
Oh, okay, very recent. Yep.
So, but this is not the Gomez version. It is the Jack Russell version. I think he calls himself Jack in the movie. So, I mean, abilities is a werewolf. So, it's a full moon. He turns into a werewolf. It looks in the movie. It looks like, in Harry Potter, Lupin, werewolf.
Yep.
It looks a little bit like that, but hairier and like less like a wolf. Like it looks more like a person.
Lots of people have talked about this, like the werewolf. I guess this is going to positive and negatives. Some people might not like it because it's very much. Have you ever seen what's that show? Teen Wolf.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but yeah,
it's kind of like that except better.
Yeah,
where it looks like a person.
Yeah, with
like hair, lots of hair.
Yes.
Whereas some werewolves in other movies are just wolves, like big wolves.
Essentially, yeah. Like in Twilight, aren't they just wolves?
They're just big wolves.
So I did like it. I did like the way they went.
I wonder how it would look in color.
Yeah, that's right. I think it also covers up some of the. I feel like it was probably just a cheap costume. Like it probably didn't look that good in color.
Yeah.
So, but in black and white,
in black and white,
it looks all right. And they don't actually show him in color at any stage, so we never really know how he looks like. But for the aesthetic that they were going for,
it fit the vibe.
Yeah. It looked fine.
But if he shows up in something else in color, I think they might have to tweak how it looks.
Yeah.
Well, or maybe it looks amazing. We don't know.
Any other positives and negatives?
The music is pretty good.
Yeah, the music is also
which we probably
50s.
Expected. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is his. I feel like his music. What's the theme for? I mean, Jurassic World. He just uses John Williams' theme, but like his music isn't always that great. Like it ranges from average. Like it's never bad.
Yeah.
But it ranges from like average to pretty good. I don't think it's ever like amazing. Like the Spider-Man movies don't have like amazing music.
Yeah, I can't remember the theme off by heart. Like if I heard it, I would know what it is though.
So, but he did a good job in this one. Obviously, it's his own.
He's got some songs and stuff in it, which were good. Yeah.
Yes. And it's not very clear what time period this is set in.
I think it's current, but it's not clear. It's not clear.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole like black and white thing and the music and the whole aesthetic that they went for, it really puts you off. Like, is this actually in the 50s or is this like even earlier than that, or is this modern? Like, it could be anything.
Yeah. There's and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So it could really be anything. I think it could potentially be a springboard for more horror type properties from Marvel.
Yeah, I honestly think this is the best thing Marvel have done.
Phase 4?
I think like Shang-Chi and stuff's better, but this is the best thing they've ever put on Disney Plus straight up.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this when we get to She-Hulk, but I think a lot of fans have soured on Marvel in Phase 4, especially the TV shows. Because I think initially people were more open to the TV shows and they were kind of like, yeah, this is okay, because it was a new thing. But as they've released more and more, I think people are not that happy with them. And in general, they're not that good. So, yeah.
I stand by the opinion. I've said this in my Miss Marvel review, I think.
Yeah.
I think all the Marvel TV shows are about the same quality. None are worse or better. They're all about the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, people have seemed to sour on it as they've gone along. But this is better. This is better than all of them.
It's also just...
It's good because it's just an hour as well.
Yeah, it's short. Yeah. So you can't really look into it that much.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Like for the hour that they had, they did a really good job.
Yeah. They've got some interesting characters that they introduce. And we'll go to some of them into spoilers, I guess. But yeah, I thought it could have been a bit longer. That was the only thing I thought was a negative.
Yeah.
And some of it's not perfect, I guess, in terms of how it's executed. But overall, it's pretty good.
I agree with then. My only negative was it was probably a bit short.
I think an hour and a half would have been a good time frame. They introduce a range of characters in it, but you don't really get that much
of a
input from any of them.
Yeah.
To get a bit more backstory from some of them would have been great. You get the backstory for maybe one of them, and that's it. Yeah.
And even that's not massive. Like, you don't get a whole lot of backstory. But yeah, it was good. I thought it was pretty good. It's not even long, so it's worth a watch.
I wasn't expecting much when I watched it, but then I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, and let's see what other special. There's one more coming out this year, which is the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Special
and
presentation.
Apparently, they're going to curve into this a bit more.
Instead of doing shows,
maybe do a bit more specials, which I'm totally up for.
Which other events would they do it for? Like,
I think they're thinking about doing it for Nova.
Okay.
Which was meant to be a TV show, I'm pretty sure.
And when would that come out? Would it come out for an occasion? Like,
I don't know. I'm not sure.
July or something?
But
I don't know.
I'm just thinking like the reason people are souring on all the Marvel shows is because it's overload. You just get a new show every week.
It is a bit too much, yeah.
But
in general, there's just a bit too much at the moment.
Yeah.
Like just all the shows, not just from Marvel, but everything. Like Star Wars, Marvel, there's this Lord of the Rings stuff, there's House of Dragon stuff. It's just a lot at once.
So if you do this, I think it's a better way to do it.
Yeah. Okay, we can jump into spoilers. So one of the big spoilers, I guess, from this is Man-Thing is in it.
Yeah, he's not like a huge character, but physically he is, but like, I don't think popularity is huge. He was really good in this. I really enjoyed him.
Yeah, he turns out to be, because you don't know what this monster that they're hunting is. So I was expecting some sort of like vicious beast, but it was just like this kind of cute character.
Yeah, but also can brutally kill you and light you on fire if he wants to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he's friends with Jack Russell, turns out. So are they like the same family or something? Because he mentions something about family and how
I think it's just because they're monsters. So the story is, we did talk about the story, but I think it's a really good story. What's his name? Bloodstone, Victor.
Something Bloodstone.
Victor, no.
So his daughter's Elsa.
Elsa, yep. So who's in this? Anyway, Senior Bloodstone, dad of Elsa Bloodstone, is dead, and his wife brings a bunch of monster hunters to basically battle for the Bloodstone, which is a thing you can hunt monsters with. Did you get his name? What is it? He's actually a bigger character than Elsa in the comics.
Let me
I
find
want to say it's Victor, but it doesn't sound right in my head.
Bloodstone. Another thing is, do you think he's actually dead? Because you don't actually see
You'd never see him. Yeah, so he might not be dead. In the comics, he's like an eternal character.
Ulysses?
Ulysses, that's it. Yeah.
Ulysses Bloodstone. Yeah.
Yes, it wasn't Victor. Victor wasn't even close. Yeah, so they all come to this, like his mansion to whoever kills the monster gets the bloodstone, which is the only thing in this that's color until the end, which is a cool visual. Yeah, and they all go into this maze, which is like a Harry Potter, like the fourth Harry Potter maze.
Yeah, Goblet of Fire, the finale.
Yeah, and they try and kill the man thing, but Jack Russell's there to save the man thing.
So he comes in disguise, essentially. Cause
I think on false pretenses.
So does he kill someone and come instead of
It's
them?
never explained. That would have been like, this is the kind of stuff they could have added to it. That would have been cool. Like, how did he actually make his way into that?
Yeah, because they say that he has 100 kills. Like, he has more kills than anyone else there.
Which he probably does.
He probably does, but
Yeah.
like, how did he just tell them that? Or
It's interesting because no one knows anything about anyone else.
Yeah.
There's like 4 other guys and they all don't know anything about each other. So I guess he just said he had 100 kills and they just let him in.
yeah, it's like, well, okay, all right.
Yeah.
They didn't ask him how he killed them. So, yeah.
But yeah, there's like 3 other hunters that you don't get any information on really.
Yeah, so there's like, I mean, I don't even know how to describe them. There's like this guy with an axe and this lady with a sword.
Oh, there's this guy with like a crossbow and that wasn't a lady. That was a man, I'm pretty sure.
With the crossbow?
No, the lady with the sword.
I thought that was a lady.
The one dressed all in white.
The tall one.
I'm pretty sure that was a man.
Well, we don't even know which character that is because they
don't never mention the name.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been a lady. Yeah. The only other character that you get, I would say she's almost the main character in this, is Elsa Bloodstone.
So she's obviously the daughter of Ulysses, as we've already said, but you don't get an idea of if like whether she has any powers or if she's just like a normal person. I think she is actually just a normal person, but she
does the Black Widow move in this.
Yeah, which is interesting because I was like, is this like way back, like before the Widows existed or something? Because I still don't know what time frame, and we still don't know what time frame this is in, but
yeah,
maybe she's like one of the first Black Widows.
Or she just trained with Black Widows, I guess.
So that was good. I think she's definitely, like one of the best characters in this.
And I think she's probably one that will come back. I would say she has more scope than Jack Russell in the MCU.
They do get the stone. So the stone is in Man-Thing. So they have to kill Man-Thing to get the stone. That's like the thing that they have to do, the quest that they have to go on to obtain the stone. So Elsa and Jack Russell end up working together and they get the stone, but then as Jack goes to pick it up, it pushes him away because if you're a monster, you can't pick it up. And he's a monster. So then they find out that he's a werewolf, and you get the final scene where he actually turns into a werewolf because they use the bloodstone on him.
And he just wrecks everyone.
Pretty much, yeah. And he doesn't kill Elsa. So there's some level of control that he has over his body. It's not just like
minimal. It's if you think about like the Hulk's control, it's less than that.
Yeah, it's definitely less than that.
Yeah.
As in,
like initial Hulk control, like when Incredible Hulk, he's got less control than that, I think, even.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like he kills everyone except Elsa. So
yeah.
So I think he has less control. And he only doesn't kill her because like he smells her or something.
He like gets a scent beforehand. Yeah.
So
and he said it's worked once before, so he's obviously tried it once.
And I think he wouldn't kill Man-Thing.
I don't think he can kill Man-Thing.
Like even if he wanted to.
I think Man-Thing would kill him.
Yeah. So they're obviously friends, and you get a scene at the end where it turns into color. They're listening to that song from Wizard of Oz, Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yeah.
Which is what happens in Wizard of Oz
as well. Yeah.
So, and then it turns into color, and that's it. Was there an end credit scene?
They talk for a while.
But you don't know what Man-Thing says, so...
But he like kind of translates it. Yeah. Man-Thing was great. I think he was really good. I don't think we'll see a lot of him, but he was good. Yeah.
Yeah. And like this could just be like a one-off thing. Like it may not ever even come back, but...
I think Elsa could do a good team up with like Blade or something like that though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was going to speculation, there was speculation that, firstly, Blade was actually meant to be in this.
Blade would have been perfect to be in
Yes.
this. Yeah.
So it was actually meant to be in this, but they couldn't get Mahershala Ali because of scheduling conflicts. And then we actually talked about this, whether
Black Knight. Yeah.
from Eternals would be in this.
There's like a little intro in this where they're like flipping through a book and there's one guy who's got a sword. Like they're flipping through a book and there's a guy holding a sword. It's speculated that could be the original Black Knight.
Yeah. So there was kind of scope for crossover there as well, but both of them aren't in it. So
they could make like a Dark Avengers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right name for it. There is a group. I don't know if they're called the Dark Avengers, but kind of like looking at like supernatural stuff.
So kind of like Justice League Dark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Doctor Strange, Blade, Black Knight, also Bloodstone, and they just do like supernatural threats.
Okay, mystical stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They fight like Dracula or something. That would be cool. Yeah.
Anything's possible. I think they can definitely fold these characters into one of those properties. Blade on the topic. So Blade is
in turmoil.
Yeah,
it's in the shit.
Yeah, so
they're meant to start filming 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
No, 2 weeks, like in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
But they don't have a director, so
they don't have a director, and apparently the script is not great.
Yeah, so they're
and it's meant to come out
delayed. It was meant to come out next year.
Next year, right?
Yeah.
So it's not. It's definitely not going to come out next year.
They've delayed it already.
Yeah,
they've delayed a lot of stuff. Actually, they changed the whole slate, which is the better call because they don't have a director. So apparently Mahershala Ali's like not happy. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't fix it quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if he drops out of the role.
Bails.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens with that. So coming back to Werewolf by Night. So bit of trivia. In the comics, the character of Elsa Bloodstone has similarities to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, though it should be noted that her creators state that they never watched a whole episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
But they have seen it then. They've seen some of it.
They haven't seen a whole episode.
They haven't seen a full episode. Yeah. They just always stop just before the end.
Yeah, they've seen bits and pieces. They've actually seen the whole series, but they always don't watch the end credits.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, Laura Donnelly, who plays Elsa, recently starred in The Nevers, which is Joss Whedon's most recent TV show.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of those trivia,
Yeah. It's like, she's in this and Joss Whedon directed Avengers 1 and she's in this, in this MCU. And
yeah.
A
couple of other Easter eggs in that first scene. So when Elsa is talking to her stepmother, they have a conversation in the hallway where the monsters are depicted on murals in the background. And among them, one resembles the comic book resemblance of Gore the God Butcher.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But he doesn't look like that in the MCU. So.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, they put it in there.
I didn't expect Elsa's jacket to be red. I don't know what I was expecting.
Black?
I was actually expecting yellow, like a canary yellow.
Yellow?
Yeah.
No, I thought it looked dark, so I thought it would be like blue or something like that, but it's red.
It's red, yeah. She was really good. I hope she comes back.
All right. Anything else on Werewolf by Night?
No, I really enjoy it. I don't think enough people have seen it.
Yeah, not enough
people are talking about it.
Not many people know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people should watch this.
It hasn't got much publicity, so definitely watch it. Maybe people don't even know it's a Marvel thing. It's like Werewolf by Night. That just sounds like some random Halloween thing. So why would we watch that? No, definitely watch it. We recommend it.
Your family loves it outside. Know who else does? Bugs, ticks, fleas, mosquitoes. They get on your crew, pets, and on your nerves. Spray the bugs away with Wondercide's lab-proven plant-powered lineup for pets, family, home, and yard. Wondercide pest protection sprays exceed the same effectiveness standards required for conventional products, harnessing the power of nature to do the job. Wondercide, it's all good. And just for our listeners, get 20% off on Wondercide.com with coupon code PODCAST. That's WonderCIDE.com.
Shall we jump into She-Hulk?
Yes.
All right, so we'll do a bit of background. Same thing as we did with Werewolf. We'll do background, comic book origins, positives and negatives, and then we'll do some spoilers. The showrunner for She-Hulk is Jessica Gao. I looked into what she's done in the past. So she's done a lot of TV, but most recently, I guess she's most known for Rick and Morty, as being one of the writers on Rick and Morty.
Fair enough.
I think that's how she got this job. But yeah, she's been doing TV since like the mid-2000s. It stars Tatiana Maslany as Jennifer Walters or She-Hulk and a bunch of other people. There's a lot of cameos in the show. There is 9 episodes, and each episode is about half an hour, but that's including the very long credits that they have in Disney Plus. So they're pretty short episodes.
It's about 20 minutes if you factor in that, I would say. And
the finale just finished 2 days ago, so we'll get into our thoughts on it in a second. When do you think She-Hulk debuted in comics?
So I can't remember exactly when it debuted, but funny story about She-Hulk. The reason it debuted and the reason it's called She-Hulk is I think there was some clause in the Marvel contract. It would have been around the time that they made the TV show, the Hulk TV show. And I think they were thinking about introducing a female Hulk in that TV show or something of that sort. And Marvel realized that if they do introduce that, then Marvel wouldn't own the rights for that character. So they just made a female version of Hulk and called it She-Hulk just so they have the rights.
It's always something like this, isn't it? Like it's always about rights. Like people just want to keep rights, so they have to do something.
They just do shit to keep rights, yeah. So I think it was like 80s, whenever that TV show was out.
Yeah, so it was the 80s. Yeah. The first appearance was, she actually appeared in her own comic book, so she wasn't in like a Hulk comic book or something, but the comic book was The Savage She-Hulk, issue number 1, in February of 1980. So, question, so she's known for breaking the fourth wall, and they do it in the show as well.
So she did it before Deadpool. Everyone thinks that.
Yeah, everyone thinks that Deadpool did it first, but Deadpool only debuted in the 90s, I think early 90s. And she debuted before that, a decade before that. So she's actually the first that did break the fourth wall.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's technically the first that's done it in the MCU now.
Unless the previous Deadpool movies are canon.
Which, yeah, we'll see if they are.
Yeah.
In our break, while we were doing Lord of the Rings episodes, they did announce
Hugh Jackman's going to be in it. Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes. I've got mixed feelings about it.
But people being these guys that we listened to on a podcast speculated this, and I think it would be hilarious if this is the thing. It's not actually Wolverine. It's just Hugh Jackman as Hugh Jackman, and Deadpool drags him along and tells him to act like Wolverine.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
That would be funny. But I think it's going to be Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably Wolverine.
We'll just have to see, because how old is Hugh Jackman now? Like mid-50s?
Yeah. It would be a one-off. He wouldn't be the Wolverine in the MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's hard work for like, he still keeps pretty fit, but like.
There's a problem though, because the MCU can't recast Wolverine until like 2025 or something. It's part of the deal that they struck up with Fox. They can't recast any X-Men characters.
Till 2025.
It's some date like that, yeah.
Okay. Well, this movie's coming out in 2024, so they're probably just, it's like a one-off. And to be honest, Deadpool's like in his own space anyway. So, so like they can do whatever they want with Deadpool, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it could be that this is just its own movie, and then at the end he steps into the MCU or something.
So yeah, it was 1980 when She-Hulk debuted, created by Stan Lee and Joe Buscema. Her alter ego, obviously Jennifer Walters, she's a lawyer. Her team affiliation, so she's in a whole bunch of teams like Defenders, Avengers, A-Force, Fantastic Four, etc. So she has a lot of crossover with different teams. Her partnerships are with Hulk.
Lots of people.
Lots of people.
Are we talking about relationships? Because she has a relationship with like everyone in the MCU.
Oh, okay. Not relationships, more like partnerships where they go and fight people.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Hulk, obviously, and someone called Awesome Andy.
Don't know who that is.
Apparently it's an android. Awesome Android.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Haven't looked too much into it, but a comic book character that exists. Abilities, pretty much everything that Hulk has.
To a lesser extent.
Well, in the show, it's kind of hinted that it's almost to the same extent, but she can control it, essentially. She has full control over it.
I don't think it's hinted in the show that it's the same extent. We'll get into it, yeah.
But other things she has that Bruce Banner doesn't have, so she has expertise in criminology because she's a lawyer.
She's a lawyer, yeah.
And yeah, that's about it. So that's and she can control it, whereas Bruce took many, many years to get to that state. We can jump to positives and negatives. So maybe, let's start. You start with positives and I'll jump in.
I got to say, this show is definitely not as bad as people say it is. People absolutely trash this show. It's not It is not that bad. It's not amazing either. It's not like the best thing I've ever seen, but it's as good as any of the other Marvel shows. As I have said, I would say it's better than Miss Marvel as well, frankly, because I hated Miss Marvel. But this, yeah, it's got its issues, but it is, I guess there is subjectivity to it though. If you don't find it funny, then you're not going to enjoy it because it is a comedy and there's no overarching story really. It is an episodic TV show. So if you're expecting an overarching story, you're probably going to be disappointed, but that's your fault for going in expecting something.
I think, well, the story overall is Jennifer Walters is the cousin of Bruce Banner. They go on a weekend trip or something, or they're just going on a drive. They have a car crash and then Bruce Banner's blood spills into Jennifer Walters' open wound and then she gets Hulk powers. So that happens in the first episode. So it's not like I'm spoiling something that happens at the end of the season. So
and then from there, it's just how is she going to be Hulk and be a lawyer
at the same time?
And every episode, it's a different lawyer story and a different Hulk story, essentially. So
it reminded me of like those Saturday morning cartoons where every week was like a different, like the same character, but they're just like on a different adventure. Self-contained sort of episodes.
So you could miss one episode of this and skip to the next one and you would be fine. Like you would understand what's going on. Yeah. Which I thought it was okay. Like I enjoyed that, frankly.
I thought it was okay. So there's some things about the show that I don't like, but before we get into that, this is one of the most, actually it's the most divisive Marvel property released today, MCU property.
I think there's definitely valid criticisms for it because it's not perfect. And there's definitely some big flaws with it, but there's also non-valid criticisms that are thrown at it as well, which is why it's so divisive.
So I did look at the difference between the audience score and the critic score for all of the MCU properties. This is the worst, like the biggest difference. So the critics gave it an 87% consensus on Rotten Tomatoes and audience is 35%. So the difference is 52%, which is actually one of the highest differences for anything on Rotten Tomatoes. I couldn't find exactly which one had the highest, but I looked through a couple of other things on Rotten Tomatoes. The highest that I found was, I think it was like Jigsaw or something, which was like 57%. But close second was Morbius of 56%.
That's because people are trolling that. What, the audience score's way higher than...
Audience, in that case, the audience score was way higher than the critics.
But if you look at the reviews, it will just be like 10 out of 10, more big time or something.
So, and this got review... I'm pretty sure this got review bombed even before it came out.
So
this, not everything's like an actual valid criticism in terms of the audience score anyway.
I think Are we going into criticisms? Or do you have something else? Yeah.
No, we can jump in.
I think valid criticisms. The CGI is not great at times. It's okay at times. I think like the Hulk character model looks good every time they have him because they already have that model.
And they've kind of perfected.
Yeah.
Well, not perfect. I think they can still improve on it because sometimes it still looks a bit weird.
Yeah.
Especially in this show, but.
Mostly it looks good. But the She-Hulk model doesn't look great at times. It looks good sometimes, but it doesn't look good other times.
Yeah.
I think especially in the office scenes, it looks...
Definitely in the office scenes. There's some scenes with her and Hulk, like just her and Hulk in the first episode, and you can tell like everything CGI, like including the background, everything there is it's just an animated thing, pretty much. So that kind of looked okay because everything around her looked animated as well. But then, especially the scenes in the office, anytime she's the only... Like
the only CGI character and everyone else is just normal.
Just didn't look quite right.
Yeah, I think I especially noticed in the office scenes where it looks very weird.
Yeah, and not just her physique and everything, like overall look, but like her facial expressions as well. Like it didn't really match and like movements.
It looked pretty blank. Yeah.
So it didn't look great.
Which 100% valid criticism. They should have done better. And as we know, Marvel's got a bit of problem with VFX artists at the moment, so
yes,
I expect that's probably why this turned out like that.
Yeah, and you just mentioned before if you don't like the humor,
the comedy. If you don't like the comedy, you're not going to like it.
So I didn't like the comedy. So it's not that I just don't think it was my kind of humor. I didn't really find it that funny. There was a couple of chuckles here and there, but overall, I think it marketed itself as like a legal comedy with some superhero elements. I don't think they did any of that stuff well. So the legal stuff, I didn't even get a sense that she was even a good lawyer, because there's one episode where she like makes a pretty obvious and glaring mistake, the second last episode. And I'm like, if you're a proper lawyer, you probably would have asked that of your client. So like,
I disagree with that point, because I think that was more her client is a moron.
I just didn't get a sense that I think they talk her up as being a good lawyer, but you don't actually ever see it in what she does. Like, she seems like, yeah, I mean, she's okay, but she's not like an amazing lawyer.
Slightly disagree with it in terms of she does win most of her cases in this.
Yeah, but how many cases? Like, I think there's like 3.
Yeah.
And most of them are like pretty obvious in terms of like.
And she got Emil Blonsky off, which yeah.
The comedy didn't hit, and the legal stuff wasn't really that great.
I thought the legal stuff was okay. Like, it's some episodes it was better than other episodes.
I didn't mention, actually, one of the positives was, I think Tatiana Maslany was pretty good. I think she did well with what she was given. She's pretty charming overall. She did a pretty good job.
I think if her Hulk, like if they improved the CGI on that, then it would be a much better character.
And I wonder why they made her, because like the Hulk version of Bruce Banner pretty much looked like him. But
I think it's meant to look like her, but it's not like her. It's not great. Yeah,
like she's completely like she's got longer hair, and like she looks different.
I think that happens in the comics. Her hair's like how it is in the comics, and then gets longer when she turns into Hulk.
Yeah. Okay.
But like, I think the face is meant to look like her, but it's kind of like in The Incredible Hulk where the Hulk was meant to look like Edward Norton, but it's not exactly there.
Yeah, it looks completely different.
They definitely need to improve that if they're bringing her back, which I think they should, but yeah.
This is, it's a slight criticism, but also a slight positive as well. They definitely tried to do something different with this show. I think they tried to go off the formula. And they tried. But I think at the same time, it didn't help the story the way they did it. And also the fourth wall breaking stuff. It was good, but it felt like it wasn't that consistent. Like, there were some episodes where I think there were some episodes where she didn't even do it, or she did it like once. So it felt like, this thing sometimes happens, but it's not like a regular thing. But then they do something in the finale where it's like a crazy thing. Like, it's complete.
It gets crazy. Yeah. It was inconsistent with the fourth wall breaking, definitely.
Yeah. So
I was surprised what happened in that last episode. I enjoyed it though. I thought it was pretty good.
It was something, but I think it didn't really.
I thought that was probably like one of the best parts of the series, that last episode. I think the last 2 episodes are probably the best 2 episodes. And
I think so.
Everything
but
before that,
I think the rest
mediocre.
The rest of the season.
But it's not terrible. You're not going to watch this and be like, this is utter shit, or it's like, this is dog shit. It's like, yeah, whatever. It's. I feel okay watching that.
I think it's not that good. It's not.
If I'm giving it a star rating on the first few episodes, it's like a 6. It's a pass. I wouldn't say it's any worse than the worst Miss Marvel episode. Frankly, I was more disappointed in the Miss Marvel episodes than I was in any episode of this.
Well, interestingly, Miss Marvel is the highest rated critic score for any MCU property on Rotten Tomatoes. 97%.
I don't agree with that.
But it's also, well, I actually read you the biggest divide between critics and audience for MCU. So this is the top 5. She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, Eternals, Ms. Marvel.
So tell me, what's the common factor in all those movies? You see it. What's the common factor?
Yeah. They're all...
and I'm guessing Black Widow's not too far away as well.
So after Ms. Marvel was Black Panther.
Okay. And there's also a factor there as well.
Yeah. And then Thor, Love and Thunder.
Which also has something in it that,
Yeah. And then Black Widow. And then Doctor Strange too.
Okay. Well, that's...
Yeah, so
I think Doctor Strange 2 is not a great movie, so I understand that one. But all the ones above that, there's a reason why they're so divisive.
Well, there's obviously a theme, and they're also all, except for Captain Marvel and Black Panther, they're all Phase 4. So
yeah,
something's happening in Phase 4. So some of them are sort of critics more than audience, and some of them are audience more than critics. So Black Panther is critics more than audience.
I would say they're all critics more than audience.
Let me check. I think one of them was actually the other way around.
Maybe Eternals.
Eternals was audience more than critics. And Thor Love and Thunder was audience more than critics as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Black Widow as well was audience more than critics.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. There's obviously some sort of trend going on.
I think the level to what it's rated, it's like, I think on IMDb it's like 3 or something out of 10, which it's not that bad. It's not a 3 out of 10 show.
Yeah, I just don't think so the regular Marvel audience probably won't really enjoy this. It's probably not made for the regular Marvel audience, but I also don't think it's made for anyone. I don't think anyone will wholeheartedly enjoy this. There's elements of this that people will enjoy, different audiences will enjoy, but I don't think it caters to anyone completely.
I think there are people that have enjoyed this though. I definitely know that a female MCU audience is more likely to enjoy this. I'm not going to say they're all going to enjoy it, but they're probably more likely to enjoy it because it is seen from a perspective of a female. And a lot of the stuff that happens in this is just mundane kind of day-to-day stuff as well, which it's not like big superhero things, which is probably going to cater to that audience a little bit more. Online, there's a big divide because there are people that definitely enjoy this and there's people that speak up about it and that enjoy it. Nando's V Movies, have you heard of that guy?
Yeah.
He's got a good video on She-Hulk about why he enjoys it and he thinks it's his favorite MCU TV show. I don't agree with that. It's not that good. It's okay. It's not the worst. It's not dog shit. It's not 3 out of 10. It's definitely not that bad. You might think it is, but I don't.
Yeah, I think it's better than 3 out of 10.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's 7 out of 10. I think it's pretty mediocre, if anything.
But saying that, do you think Miss Marvel's 7 out of 10?
No, I'd probably, we don't do ratings, but
yeah.
I think Miss Marvel's probably a 6.
Do you think this is worse than Captain America and the Winter Soldier? Or whatever.
Worse than
Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Worse than Falcon and the Winter Soldier? There's parts of it that are worse. I think that there are parts of it that are better as well.
Yeah.
They definitely swing harder in this. I think that was Falcon and Winter Soldier was just a bit, all the episodes were a similar level and they were all not that great.
Yeah. It's definitely not catered to you, which is probably why you don't like it. And subjectively you don't like the comedy, which I understand. That's a valid criticism.
Yeah,
if you don't find it funny, then it's not gonna be good for you. But I think the point that people are saying that this is the worst show that they've ever made, I don't think that's a valid criticism.
Yeah, it's really people. There'll be people that like this show. There'll be people that like other shows as well. But the main reason I just couldn't get on board with this show was, one, the comedy, and also the character of Jen. They just don't finish her arc. I feel like they kind of did set up something with her, but the way they did the finale, which was, they tried to be different. They did something interesting, but it did a bit of a disservice to the arc that they were kind of getting for her.
They did cut the arc short, but it's a common Marvel thing, isn't it? The arc very rarely finishes.
Yeah. But the thing is, they made it so meta. It was like they're criticizing themselves, but they're still doing what they were criticizing. We'll get into it in spoilers, but it becomes incredibly meta in that last episode. And it's almost a little bit too much.
It could be to their detriment, but I think it went to, I would say it's a similar criticism to Thor Love and Thunder, which it got to a point where it was like a comedy of, it's a parody of Thor.
Yeah.
And this kind of got to the point.
It's a parody of the MCU.
Yeah. Which
I think this is better than Thor Love and Thunder. I'll say that. It's hard to compare a TV show and a movie, but
yes,
at least this there was elements that I did enjoy. There were episodes that I liked. The second last episode was pretty good. The last episode was decent.
I think they went for that meta. They're like, let's commit to this meta thing, and it's probably going to do it because the arc of the She-Hulk character is essentially she's like a cocky. It's kind of like she's Iron Man. Essentially, she's like a cocky lawyer.
Yeah, but
that thinks she's the best, and she doesn't. the first episode, it's kind of like Bruce is trying to help her, but she doesn't think she needs it. And then over the course of the show, you find that she probably does need it.
Yeah, but
and she realizes that as well to an extent.
I don't think it's clear.
In the last episode, rather than finishing off that arc, they do the meta thing instead.
Yeah. I don't think it's clear enough. And that first episode made a lot of people angry as well.
The first episode, so you mentioned this before. Yeah. The first episode makes people angry because they're like, oh, how come she could do all this stuff and it took Hulk ages to train and do it?
15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
First off, it's how it is in the comics. She could transform at will. Second off, she's not as strong as the Hulk. The Hulk is holding back in that fight. And clearly, in his form where he's Smart Hulk or whatever, that's not his strongest form. He's much stronger when he's the actual Hulk. So people are like, oh, she's just like as powerful or more powerful than the Hulk, and she's been the Hulk for like 2 days. It's not the case. The Hulk is holding back. He doesn't want to kill his cousin.
Yeah.
So people want him to kill his cousin in the first episode? Is that what people are saying?
No, I think all that... Yeah, people can get angry at whatever they want. Like, there's definitely like comments that are not from a place of like actual criticism related to this show. Like, I think there's actual like, you know, racist and other like sexist people that definitely don't like this show.
Yeah.
So there's an element of that, but I think there is an element of like actual proper criticism. And I think the part where she says infinitely better than you because I'm angry all the time.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Look, that's like Iron Man being his cocky self. When Iron Man's cocky and he's like, yeah, I'm a billionaire playboy philanthropist, everyone's like, yeah, come on, he's the best. And she says this, she says she has that ability, but through the show, it's proven that she doesn't.
I don't think it's clear enough. I don't think it's clear that it is proven. Like, I think they could have done it better in the finale where maybe she realized, oh, I can't actually control my anger. Maybe I need it.
It is proven in the show that she can't control her anger. In the second last episode,
it is.
She can't control her anger.
But it's never like it's never closed out in a proper way because of the way they do the finale. So I think
I agree with the finale. They went for laughs over the character development.
Yeah,
but I think the criticism that she's better than the Hulk in every way just because she's a female is not a valid criticism.
Well, I think that's what they said in the first episode. And I think
that's what she thinks in the first episode. But it's not in the show. It's proven time and time again that it's not true. If you actually watch the show, then you realize that it's the same as Iron Man, the arc that he goes through thinking that he can do whatever he wants. And then he kind of realizes that he's causing more harm than good.
Well, they did it more effectively with Iron Man.
Yeah, and they had 5 movies to do it.
Yeah, that's right. And
this was one TV show.
That it wasn't done very effectively in this overall. And I think they set it up. Like, they made her not very likable in that first episode.
Yeah, but this is one season of a TV show. Yeah. So they could finish up the arc in another season as well. Like, there's still more to go.
I think they should have done a better job in this season. They had 9 episodes. So firstly, each episode's not that long, and they don't really, like, there's definitely redundant stuff.
Yeah.
There's stuff that they didn't need. So 9-episode season, I would have expected them to complete the arc, and they didn't do it. So that was a little bit disappointing. I think it definitely gets more hate than it deserves, but I think some of it does deserve. I think it didn't do. I think
people saw the first episode and said, "I hate this show because this girl is stronger than the Hulk," and then they didn't watch any of the rest, and they're like, "This is a shit show." Yeah. But I agree with you. It's a valid criticism that they didn't finish the arc.
I think people that don't like this show and people that like the show, like, the immediate criticism that people that don't like the show get is like, you don't like it because you're sexist. But I don't think that's true. I think the show is just generally not that good. That's why people like. That's why I don't like it. I just don't think it's that good.
I just think that this show gets a lot more hate than some of the other Marvel shows that are just as bad because of the first episode and people being sexist, though.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that good either. I think it's all right. It's like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't watch it ever again.
Yeah. I think it's bottom end of the TV shows, but all the TV shows are about the same. So they're all bunched up together.
They're all about the same.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, they're a point off each other. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not that different. Before we jump to spoilers, the ultimate villains of this show.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
That was...
yeah.
We'll get into it in spoilers, I guess. I think that was meta taken a little bit too far as well. I'll talk about it in spoilers. So anything else that we want to discuss non-spoilers?
I thought we talked spoilers already, but yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we're pretty much talking spoilers anyway. If you haven't seen She-Hulk, you probably watched it by now, but go watch it by all means. You give a cognitive recalibration?
No, is there something where it's just whatever? It's just like, I don't love it. I don't hate it.
You gave, we've been giving most of the recent Marvel stuff regression, so I guess this would, like, Ms. Marvel's a regression. So
Ms. Marvel's a regression. This is better than Ms. Marvel for me.
Okay.
But it's not a lot better.
Yeah, so it's probably still regression then.
The reason why I'm more supportive of this than Ms. Marvel is just because the amount of hate it gets is not, it's not equal to how bad the show is. Like,
that's true, but it's still not that good, in my opinion. So
but like, it's, if you like the MCU, it's worth a watch. Like, you're not going to hate it. It's worth a one-time watch. There's some stuff in this that you'll like. Yeah,
I think there's some references and
I found some of the episodes weren't funny, but some of them were funny. Like, there's some stuff with Wong that I found was funny. There was some stuff with characters at the end that was good.
Yeah,
which we'll go through in spoilers. But,
Abomination has a bit of a turn compared to when we last saw him, but it was okay. I thought it was done all right.
I think another criticism of the show is that every male character in this is evil, which is just not true as well. There's obviously...
I think there's very stereotypical male characters, though, which they could have avoided. I think there was some... there's probably people that exist like this, but there's not, like... They're not this bad. Like, there's like one guy that they work with who's just, like, basically a predator. I'm like, this is a little bit too blatant.
There probably is people like that out there.
There probably is, but it's like...
There is people out there like that because you hear stuff.
There is.
Yeah. There are good male characters in this.
There are good male characters, especially towards the second half of the season.
Bruce Banner's obviously stand out all throughout as well. He's always...
not really in it. I did in the first episode and last episode.
He's in the first episode, yeah. But like, the fact that people say there's no good male characters in it is not true.
There's just
there is a lot of bad male characters.
I think there's a lot of bad, there's not that many good, when you look at the ratio of good to bad male characters, there is.
I understand what they were going for. It makes the haters hate it more because predominantly the people that hate on this are the males. So seeing that there's not as many good male characters, they would hate it more. But I think the point of the show was to point out some of these kind of male characters in society. Maybe that we wouldn't know how prevalent they are. Maybe they are more prevalent. Maybe it's not, but the show is kind of portraying that.
I mean, it is
we're not female, so we can't really
tell.
Yeah,
but like,
we're not women, so yeah.
I watched it with my wife, and my wife's not like a huge MCU fan, so she wasn't going to watch it from a place of like liking Marvel stuff. But we watched like the first 5 episodes together, and she just couldn't get into it. She's just like, this is not that interesting. So I'm just interested to see what kind of audience would really resonate with this.
Your wife's not the biggest MCU fan.
In general. I think she wouldn't like it in general.
I think someone that enjoys the MCU and is a woman probably would like this more. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's jump into spoilers. Where did we want to start? We can start with like the villains of this show, which I was kind of alluding to.
Yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of that guy being the villain, which they in the last episode she says that as well in her meta rant. He was whatever. Yeah.
So he's like the main villain, I guess, but the villains of the show are essentially like people who hate She-Hulk. Like basically internet trolls. Yeah. Basically internet trolls. So like I'm just wondering,
they went hard for it, which makes people hate it even more, which like it just feels a bit just very
interesting choice because did they know that they were going to get?
It's funny because they probably didn't they? Because this was all shot before the thing came out.
Yeah, so
they clearly probably had an idea that it might go this way.
Yeah, so they must have had, or it was like some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy where they're like, we're gonna get trolled.
The internet proved them right, did they?
Yeah, we're gonna get trolled. So we're gonna make the trolls the villains of this show. And then we're going to directly address it in the last episode as well.
Look, the trolls could have been the better people and then not trolled it, but they did. They did exactly what we expected, what they expected them to do.
But I don't think doing this is made matters any better. I think it's.
The irony of it is these guys are exactly what the show is portraying them to be.
Yeah,
because if they weren't, then they wouldn't have trolled the show, and they wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
It would have just been like, oh, what? This is weird. They've got this intelligentsia thing, but it mirrored real life. So they essentially screwed themselves by being the trolls that they are.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting choice. I don't think it completely worked.
It's a weak villain.
Oh,
well,
definitely.
It's not really a villain.
It's not. It's just, it's just a thing that exists. And to be honest, like the way they did the whole final episode, so to people who have seen it, you'll know.
I thought it was pretty funny. So she does a massive, like, never before seen fourth wall breaking type thing where we're in the climax of the episode. And all this shit's happening. And when it was happening, I'm like, this is shit. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, which is obviously, and we've seen other Marvel shows end like this, like with a big fight. So they're like, oh, okay, they're just doing this again.
When Bruce Banner jumps through the roof and falls in, I'm like, nah, this is not happening.
Yeah,
this is not it. Yeah.
Yeah. We need to address this as well. I guess while we're on the topic, before I forget, this Titania lady.
Oh, she was pretty shit. Yeah.
Like, what? So in the first episode, she just turns up. Like, you don't even know why she turns up. She just turns up at the court and they have a fight and that's it. And then there's another episode dedicated to her where she like steals She-Hulk's identity or whatever.
That was probably my least favorite episode.
Is that the one? That's the one she goes to the wedding, or that's the one after she goes?
Nah,
or that's the one before.
The wedding one's not bad. I didn't mind the wedding one.
There was a lot of. I think there's episodes I would take out. So the wedding one probably because, I mean, it's just emphasizing that people like She-Hulk, but they don't like Jen. It's just emphasizing that. Which you kind of already get a sense of in like one of the previous episodes where she goes to court.
The dating one.
The dating one.
The dating one's not bad as well. I think lots of women resonated with that one.
Yeah, I guess. I won't comment. I thought it was fine. Like, it actually wasn't one of the worst episodes.
Yeah.
It was okay. Like, it was a good character development type episode.
Yeah. It's that episode, like, we can't really... We don't have any point of reference for that. So, yeah.
But, yeah, like, so that final... where she breaks a fourth wall, she goes into Disney Plus, which was, I guess, creative, like, because you're watching it on Disney Plus, so coming out with a Disney Plus screen, it's kind of like, well, maybe people are like, oh, what's going on here? And then she goes into, I think it's like Shang-Chi's making of or whatever in the screen.
No, it's that thing where they do the behind the scenes for the movies.
Yeah, behind the scenes thing.
Yeah.
She goes into that. She goes into a boardroom where it's the actual writers as well, of the show. And she's like, what's going on with this finale? What were you thinking? And then she goes and meets Kevin.
Which you're going to think it's going to be Kevin Feige, but it's...
Did you notice that he has a little hat as well?
Does he? I didn't see that. Yeah, that's
like
funny.
a little hat.
It's basically the guy from Space Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it turns out he's an AI. He's got some abbreviations. So Kevin actually stands for something.
But he's creating the story for the overall MCU. And
a lot of the criticism... So this is where it gets incredibly meta. So people who don't like the MCU say that it feels like it's an algorithm's just come up with these movies. Like they're just coming off like a conveyor belt. Like there's no creativity in them.
Which valid argument for some movies.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, they made it. That sort of makes sense. And then they talk about like how Marvel movies have problems, or Marvel things have problems with endings, which is kind of
also
true as well.
Valid.
Kind of true.
Especially the TV shows. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they talk about all this like stuff, which is true.
I thought it was pretty funny at that point. Yeah.
It was funny. I think there was one part where they talk about the visual effects. And they're like, you're too expensive. So like turn back into Jet.
That was funny.
It was, but like we just heard the news about how they're treating their visual effects people. So
maybe mistimed.
Yeah.
But did you see the part where it's like, oh, the visual effects team has already moved on to the next project, and then you get the music from Black Panther?
Oh, I didn't hear the music. Okay.
In the background, you get the music for Black Panther.
Oh, okay. Yeah, which is the next project. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. It was funny, but they definitely, by doing that, they did sacrifice her character development.
Did.
So,
Frankly,
but look, I
like
give
the
them
character development, it would have been, whatever. She understands that she can't do everything and she has to ask for help or whatever.
which is a good.
Yeah,
that would have
but
been
I
good.
thought this was, I thought this was funnier.
Because to get a character to resonate with a character, you need to be able to empathize with them in a way, and you can't empathize with Jen completely because like you never see the end of that arc. That's just where I left it off at. Like, because I thought Tatiana Maslany was pretty good. I think
She's got good comedic timing as well.
Yeah,
especially at that part where she's talking to Kevin. There's like lots of things that they reference there.
yeah. She talks about
It's like X-Men, and then she like looks at us and like gives us a wink and stuff.
Yeah, and then she talks about a movie, and he's like, "What
She
is?"
talks about a Hulk movie. Well,
yeah.
they're like, we need Hulk to come back and say this thing. It's like, don't worry, you can talk about that in his movie or whatever.
Yeah. But they did some. It was at least they did something different. I give them.
I thought that was the most creative part of the show. So yeah.
But it also, they should have done more fourth wall breaking stuff throughout the show because she doesn't really do it that much. And it's like, even when she does it, it's not like Deadpool does it. I think she just like kind of talks to the camera. It's like, oh, this guy's a bit weird. Or like she just like kind of commentates on what's happening. She doesn't like do like crazy fourth wall stuff that much.
I'm just trying to think what Deadpool does. Doesn't he do the same thing?
Well, he sometimes, it's pretty much the same thing, but he sometimes like references like, because Deadpool references heaps of stuff. Like he references like DC and he references,
I think that's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
That's not written in the script. It's Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds.
I think it's when he does it, it's just, I don't know. I just found it funnier when Deadpool
because you're
does
sexist,
it. Because I'm sexist. Yeah. It's just,
no, I thought she was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, there's definite parts where it's not as good. I thought that last episode where she broke the fourth wall, she was great
good.
though. Yeah,
it was pretty good.
Yeah.
We can talk about the 8th episode, which is the one that they were sort of baiting for the whole season about Daredevil.
I was secretly hoping that they would bait Daredevil and then he would never show up.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious if they did that.
Yeah, so
because it would make everyone hate it that much more. They're like, "Oh, how dare you bait Daredevil?" And then he never shows up. Yeah.
Well, like you can never satisfy these guys because like they bait him and he finally
shows up and then they hate it anyway.
They hate it anyway. So
which I don't understand because I thought it was really good.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was great.
Yeah, he was really good. He was really good. I think, and it was actually the first, probably the only time in the whole season where it actually felt like a legal drama for a little bit. Like the one scene where they're in court, and they're actually talking to each other, and you can tell that they're like, they both kind of know what they're doing. And he definitely, like, he seems like he came fully prepared. So he was coming up with all the good arguments, whereas Jen was kind of caught off guard in that situation. I thought that was really good.
I think it's, and the point you're making that I think it's because her client withheld information. It's not, she can't the guy said it was a flaw in the suit.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, if he doesn't tell her, what's she meant to do about it?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not completely her fault, but having dealt or like worked with lawyers and dealt with lawyers, they ask 2,000 questions. Like they'll ask you so many questions until they get exactly what they need. So like they go through every single possible detail. So she obviously didn't do that, or maybe he just didn't tell her. So it's not all her fault, but it seemed like a kind of a petty thing to like not know going into a court case. But anyway, that was one of the better episodes, like the one with Daredevil in it, and then after that they have they meet as She-Hulk and Daredevil after that, which was also pretty good. Yeah, and then she finds out who he is as well. Almost straight away. She was going to kill him. as well. I don't think she realized that, but like she was chucking cars at him, and if that landed on him, he would have died.
Yeah, true. Yeah. It probably would have. I'm guessing, yeah. Well, she's not really a superhero, is she? So she doesn't really know what she's doing, which is kind of highlighted in that episode as well, where Daredevil's just like, yeah, you should probably leave this to me.
But no, I did like their chemistry. That it was good. It was a good episode, and there's some good lines in there where he talks about like how she can help people with the law, but then when the law fails them, she can help them as She-Hulk.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I think the criticism that people have for this is like, oh, the MCU's making Daredevil make jokes. It's like, first off, it's because he's interacting with She-Hulk. That's the way he's acting. If he's interacting with the Punisher or Kingpin, he's not going to be cracking jokes or like interacting in the same way, essentially.
Yeah.
And also in the comics, Daredevil is a Batman. He's not always brooding and doesn't crack jokes. He does actually do that. So yeah.
And he wasn't like hilarious. He was.
He like cracked maybe one or two jokes, and that was it. And he smiled, and people were like, "How dare Daredevil smile?"
Yeah, I think there was a couple of jokes in there. It wasn't like it was like more chuckles than like actual like laughter. As such.
Yeah, I thought it was still pretty true to his character in the show.
I mean, it seemed like the same guy that was in Spider-Man: No Way Home. It didn't seem like it was a different character to me.
No,
so yeah. Like he makes a couple of like not jokes, but there's moments of levity in Spider-Man: No Way Home as well. So like it made sense.
Yeah.
But
people are angry about him. They're like, MC's ruined his character. I don't think they have. Yeah.
I think he was in it for
one episode.
Yeah, 20-minute episode. It was fine. Yeah, I think
the
those
new
two
suit looked good as well.
Yeah, the yellow.
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah. But I think we'll go back to his darker suit in his show probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the suit. Maybe keep it for a while. This is his original suit in the comics.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, but yellow is not like, since he's sort of hiding in the shadows and like.
Once again, he's not Batman.
It's more about like, he's meant to not be detected, right? I think that's the whole point of him. Right?
He's not he's trained by
He's not
ninjas.
Batman, but like he doesn't have powers. Like explicit powers, so he doesn't want to be like completely conspicuous. Like
but his previous suit's red, which is also not like if you're going to go completely conspicuous, go black.
But red is hard to see in the night.
Yeah,
hence you don't play test cricket with a red ball in the day-night test.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
reference that hardly anyone's going to understand. I mean, other episodes.
I liked the episode with that random chick.
With Wong?
Yes. I thought she was funny.
You know, there was all these theories that she was the main bad guy?
Yeah, there was. Like, there's theories that she's the ghost writer because she said she made a deal with the devil. Yeah.
Well, there's like theories that she's working. Obviously, Mephisto's gonna...
made a deal with the devil, so Mephisto's always ever present. Yeah. She was funny. I thought, because she's just like this clueless character that's been through like all this cosmic universe and somehow made it out.
Somehow, yeah. That was fine. I thought that, again, it was like a self-contained episode. Like there was this guy who sort of knew magic and it was doing like cheap tricks.
Oh, yeah. He like tried to camouflage for a while and then he left. And it was just doing random magic. Yeah.
Wong's in it quite a bit. Wong's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Wong's like the new Nick Fury, I guess. Yeah.
So he was in this. He was in No Way Home. He was in Doctor Strange. Has he been in everything in Phase 4?
He was in Shang-Chi.
He was in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
He's pretty much in almost every single thing that we had in Phase 4. Was he in Eternals at some stage?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't in Thor: Love and Thunder either.
No, he wasn't. Yeah. But yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
In this, he's
good.
He was good. He was like, I don't have many criticisms about it, but he is very comedic.
But I think still true to his character, being the guy in Doctor Strange 1 who's listening to like Beyonce when they do that, and then what's he doing? He is like comedic in Doctor Strange 2, isn't he? I just hate that movie, so I've mentally deleted it from my brain. I can't remember.
They do have a couple of jokes with him. But everyone makes jokes in the MCU, so I don't think it's a big deal.
He was like, he's just streaming content in this.
any other episodes that we need to talk about?
There's ones that are.
There's one where she
Right.
goes to Abomination's like retreat or whatever.
I didn't especially like that episode.
Yeah. I actually, a
But
lot of
there
people
was a
don't
bit more
like it.
character development in that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that, but
Yeah.
that was one of the episodes where I actually started to actually empathize with Jen a little bit because like
She's got more character development in that.
yeah. So I actually thought that one was not that bad overall.
I guess I didn't really watch this show for character development. I was just watching it for
for
I don't think she's going to be a character where she's not going to be like a Tony Stark in the universe where her arc is going to develop over the MCU. She's going to be a side character at best. I'll be interested to see her do something with Deadpool. That would be good.
she's probably going to be in Daredevil, that show.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think she'll be in it. Yeah.
So they're not in a lasting relationship.
Nah, I think it was more like a fling. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
She might be in it. I doubt she'll be in it
Yeah. Well, he does come back at
the end. Yeah, but that's because she requests
She asked
it.
for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So that whole thing with the meta, how she like changes the script, it kind of like removes all consequence, all stakes. Like, if you could just do that.
Yeah.
It was
But once again, she's not going to, if she was the main character in the MCU and she was,
So this is still canon though, right? It's still in the MCU, in the main timeline of the MCU.
but then also Deadpool goes back in time in Deadpool 2 and changes all the thing. And he also goes into the real world and shoots himself from reading the Green Lantern script. So,
Yeah. But is that, we still don't know if that's MCU canon yet, but
yeah, I'm sure he'll do shit like that in Deadpool 3 as well. So, yeah.
It's just when you do stuff like that, and they also talk about like, oh, this is lazy writing, like having a crazy battle sequence at the end, but like it's even more lazy what you're just doing now with the just like erasing everything and just doing whatever you want. That's even more lazy. So it's kind of like covering up lazy writing with more lazy writing.
I guess that's valid, but I think what they call it hanging a lantern. If you, and the MCU does this a lot, if you do something stupid but you mention that it's stupid when you do it, then it removes some of that stupidity.
I guess. Yeah.
Like the problem with I was actually re-watching some of Batman v Superman.
Our favorite movie.
Yeah, look, and that movie is not terrible. It's got its flaws, but the problem is it takes itself so seriously and has so much stupid shit in it, and it never hangs a lantern to it. It always thinks it's very serious and realistic, but it's got so much stupid shit in it that you just can't take it seriously.
I think that's the difference. Like if this took itself, if it wasn't a comedy, and same story but wasn't a comedy,
it would be worse.
It would be much worse.
It would be infinitely worse. Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't even make sense. Like you wouldn't be able to do the fourth wall breaking stuff if it wasn't a comedy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it understood what it was going for.
It definitely didn't hit a home run though. It's not like, oh, this is the best thing ever made.
I think the what they did in the final episode, they should have done for the whole second half of the season. Like the first half of that final episode where she's like goes to jail and like kind of realizes some of her flaws and stuff. That could have been the whole second half of the season, and then you could still do this thing at the end, but it would be much more
funnier.
earned.
Yeah. And I think more meta stuff would have been better actually.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do enough of it and then saved it all for the last episode. And
it was all too much.
And it was good, but it didn't have any build up to it. It was just like, this is it.
But yeah, it's divisive, but it is what it is, I guess. It's not made for everyone.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. It hasn't kept me up at night and like made me go on internet forums and rubbish people. Not that anything ever has done that to me. So I've never gone on internet and spread hate. At least I hope I haven't. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've been putting out stuff on TikTok and been getting some feedback on some of our thoughts on that. So let's see what people think of our thoughts on this once we put it out. So yeah, we'll definitely get in touch with us about. We'd like to actually hear what people
They probably hate my opinion. I
They
assume.
probably hate my opinion,
Yeah.
I think, more than yours. Well, I don't know. I think we'll both get hate. So,
Yeah.
all right.
I think the people that are more vocal would hate my opinion.
In terms of the future, so this is the last show for Phase 4. The last movie for Phase 4 is Black Panther. And then we got Phase 5. So in Phase 5, we've got another season of What If, Secret Invasion, Echo, Loki Season 2, Ironheart, Agatha, the show about Agatha Harkness, and Dead or Born Again.
I've got to say, this Phase 4 is definitely the worst phase of Marvel ever made.
By far.
By
yeah.
far, yeah.
Yeah.
There's not much I really like in it. Like, Shang-Chi, No Way Home was okay, and Werewolf by Night. That's probably the three things I would maybe watch again.
Yeah. No, it's by far the worst, and it's also by far the longest in terms of their content-wise.
Yeah, because of the TV shows.
Yeah. Or even there's been quite a few movies as well. Like, how many movies has there been? So Black
Not that
Widow,
many, but start with Black Widow.
Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Doctor Strange, Thor, and
That's it. And then Black Panther. Yeah.
So 6.
It's not like there's been phases with more than 6 movies.
Yeah. Phase 3 had a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely quantity over quality at the moment. And there's other series that have sort of been announced, but they don't have a date yet. So there's a Wakanda series, apparently.
Apparently they might make that into a special as well.
There's Spider-Man Freshman Year, which is an animated
That's an animated one. It's not canon. It's
Apparently,
like an alternate universe.
So
it's canon.
It's
in
canon,
the multiverse.
but not in the multiverse. Yeah. There's a sequel to that called Spider-Man Sophomore Year, which is also in development. Marvel Zombies, Wonder Man. There's an Untitled Nova series, which you mentioned might also be a special figure.
Yeah, it should be a special, apparently.
And there's also apparently What If Season 3 as well.
Okay, yeah.
Movies-wise, so Wakanda Forever in about a month, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Marvels, Captain America New World Order, Thunderbolts, and Blade, which is, we don't know when that's coming out.
It's got a new date. I can't remember when.
So that's Phase 5, and then Phase 6 is Deadpool 3, Fantastic Four, the 2 Avengers movies, so Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, in terms of the ones that are announced. So there's some blank spots as well. Stuff that doesn't have a release date yet in terms of movies is Armor Wars, and apparently there's a Shang-Chi sequel and an Eternal sequel in development as well.
And Spider-Man 4.
And Spider-Man 4.
From this TV show, I think there'll be a World War Hulk movie.
Yeah, so we haven't talked about that. So it's like very quick as well. Like they just dropped this on you, but like Hulk returns from Sakaar, and he has a son called Scar. Yeah, which is a character in the comics. That's it. They just leave it at that. They don't say anything else, but they can't do a movie.
They can, starting next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they might do a movie. Will She-Hulk be in it?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a Hulk going evil story, essentially. Yeah. Which is what World War Hulk is.
Like Bruce Banner or?
No, he switches to Hulk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like full Hulk.
Full Hulk, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is, in the comics, is very hard to beat full Hulk. Like, everyone pretty much dies in that comic, so I don't know how they're going to really do that, but it might be a more kind of toned down version of that. Yeah. Or other people are saying that he just brought Scar back, so that Scar could be part of the Young Avengers.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. I always thought that Hulk, after the first Avengers movies, never really had the best time in the MCU. Like, I think they've done justice to him that much after the first Avengers.
I think Thor Ragnarok's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
I think that was probably second best after the first Avengers. Yeah. Like in Ultron, he's kind of not that great. And then you don't even see him in Infinity War. And then when you see him in Endgame, he's not the same Hulk. So
I think doing a solo Hulk movie is not a good idea, though. I don't think he's a character that is good for a solo movie. I think he's better as a addition.
Do you think the Incredible Hulk, the Edward Norton one, is
All right.
I think it's better than all the Phase 4 movies.
Nah, it's not better than Shang-Chi. It's not better than No Way Home.
Yeah, maybe with the exception of those two. I think it's a decent movie. That's a pretty good movie.
It's all right. Yeah. Yeah, it's better. It's better than, I like it better than, I don't know, like Doctor Strange. Nah, I hate that movie. What am I saying? And Thor is not good.
Black Widow.
Black Widow might be better. Black Widow is like a good movie. It just came out like
At the
5
wrong
years
time.
after it should have come out.
Yeah. No, I think they can do a good Hulk movie. They just need to structure it well.
Yeah, I think he works better as a secondary character, but I don't know. If they're going to do this World War Hulk movie, I don't know which characters they use in that movie, because you can't just have Hulk. He's got to be the villain in that movie. So who's the hero then?
His son? Or She-Hulk?
Yeah, possibly. I don't think he'll be She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because people hate that. just straight off the bat, if people say She-Hulk is the hero and Hulk's the villain, people obviously hate that.
Okay, well, we'll see where that goes. There's no end credit scene, is there?
Nah, that's pretty much the end credits.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there is. Emil Blonsky gets broken out by Wong.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is this is post Shang-Chi?
Post Shang-Chi. They already did the fight. Remember, that was the first thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So this is, sort of in that time
He
frame.
could, possibly join the Thunderbolts. I know he's not in the cast, but I think he would be good in the Thunderbolts. Also, casting news. Apparently, they might cast Harrison Ford
as
Thaddeus Ross, because
he's
the guy that played it died. Yeah.
Interesting choice. Isn't Harrison Ford like 80?
Yeah, but is it Ross like 80 as well?
Like in the character Ross?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Is he going to grow a mustache?
Don't know. Yeah.
I feel like Harrison Ford wouldn't do that though. Like, I feel like he wouldn't care about this unless they're paying him like.
Pay him a lot of money. Yeah.
But does he need money? He's so rich, isn't he? Like,
I don't know. Wants to fly planes and stuff, I guess, so it needs money. But yeah, it's unless Wakanda Forever is an absolute banger,
not
I'm
great.
still looking forward to the next phase, just because there's some good stuff in it. I don't particularly think I'm looking forward to the next phase, but I'm looking forward to the phase after that.
The Avengers phase.
Like Fantastic Four,
Phase
it's got
6.
Avengers, it's got Deadpool, it's got, yeah. That's probably the one that's more exciting. The only thing I'm really looking forward to in the next phase, which might end up being shit anyway, is the Ant-Man movie. I'm looking forward to it, but like the record of the Ant-Man movies aren't great. So
At best, they're mediocre.
yeah.
Yeah, I know people like them, but
And look, yeah, Wakanda Forever could be anything. Ryan Coogler makes good movies, so I'm hopeful, but I know that movie's had lots of stuff to overcome.
yeah.
It couldn't have been easy to make a story.
The trailers look good though. All right. Anything else?
No, it's probably about it.
Cool. So if people want to get in touch with us about their thoughts on the MCU, how do they go about it?
So contact us at cognitive recalibration podcast@gmail.com or on all other platforms.
Yep. So we're on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that stuff. So follow us on all of that. We're posting short form videos, so little clips of our episodes. So watch those on Instagram and TikTok. Give us feedback on those. So I think that's probably the easiest way that people can contact us, by just putting comments on our TikTok. But you can obviously send us a message on Twitter as well if you want to.
I'm looking forward to Black Adam.
Next week is Black Adam.
I've got we both have a real busy week, so hopefully we can fit that in somewhere.
Yeah, I actually got to like a double pass for an advanced screening on Wednesday, but I missed out. Like I didn't get it in time. It was at IMAX.
That would have been good.
Yeah, it was at IMAX for the. It's just a day before it comes out, so it's not really like a premiere. But anyway, we'll find some time to watch it at some stage, and that's probably going to be our next review.
I'm ready to absolutely trash it or absolutely love it. I don't think it'll be in the middle. I can either hate it or love it.
Well, let's see what happens. And then after that, I think Andor's still going. So, and I'm not up to date anyway. I've only watched the first episode. So that's going to come at some stage. And then Black Panther's in November. So I think we'll have some stuff in between that we'll review. Cool. All right. Well, let us know your thoughts. I'm very interested in this one because this is one of the most divisive Marvel properties that we've ever reviewed. Probably the most ever. So definitely let us know.
Like we said, there's valid criticism for it. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not great. Werewolf by Night is though. You should watch that. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thanks everyone for listening. Hope you're all staying safe. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you in the next one, which is probably Black Adam. But we'll also have a Rings of Power episode coming out at some stage. See ya.
Bye.